So, does anybody here know how long beer's been around with humans for?
500 years.
1,000 years.
Well, according to Kathy Padden's article, A Brief History of Beer, beer's been around for over 6,000 years, and craft beer is becoming more and more popular every single day. Does anybody here know where Ohio ranks in craft beer production in the country?
18th.
40th.
Anybody know about Pennsylvania?
25th.
7th.
Well, according to the Brewers Association, in 2015, Ohio ranked 4th in craft beer production with over 1.3 million barrels produced, and Pennsylvania topped the list with over 4 million barrels produced. And most of these craft breweries stick to 4 main ingredients. Today, I'm going to introduce you to these ingredients so you can better understand their role in beer and detect their flavors. I've been a home brewer for a little over a year now, and I've used these ingredients regularly. I feel like I can accurately convey how they play with one another to you guys today. Now, according to another statistic by the Brewers Association, there are more breweries operating in the United States than ever before, with over 4,300, but still, most are using those main 4 ingredients. Now, what are these ingredients? They're barley, hops, water, and yeast. Now, why does everybody use this? Well, it goes back to the 1500s. According to Jeremy Zimmerman in his book, How to Make Mead Like a Viking, the Reinheitsgebot, or German purity law, was enacted in the 1500s, and it originally only called for barley, hops, and water to be used. Why was that, you might ask? Because yeast is a microbial fungus that's naked to the human eye by itself. It wasn't discovered till much later that it plays an integral role in producing alcohol and carbon dioxide. Once it was discovered, however, it was added to the Reinheitsgebot. The first ingredient we're going to talk about is barley. Barley makes up the body of the beer, and it adds the sugar that's converted into yeast. According to John Palmer in his book, How to Brew, the main sugar that's brought in barley is called maltose. Maltose is very easily eaten by yeast and converted into alcohol. Barley is a member of the grass family, and it has kernels on top of it. Inside of these kernels is where the carbohydrates, starches, and maltose reside. Through the process of germination, or basically sprouting of the seed, these sugars are more converted into maltose and easily digestible sugars. The process of malting, or heating the barley to stop germination, basically locks the barley into this state so it can keep the sugars in the optimal point for fermentation. Today, most homebrewers use something called malt extract, which you see in front of you in that white bowl. If you'd like to pass that around, you can smell it and taste it. It tastes very, very sweet. Basically, that is processed barley made so it's easy for the homebrewer to use. Now, if we only used that in making beer, beer would be cloyingly sweet and you could hardly drink it. So we need another ingredient to balance out this sweetness and add a little bit of bitterness to the mix. That ingredient is hops. Hops you can see in front of you in the 2 plastic containers. Pass them around, smell them. You'll see they are very different, but they're still technically the same plant. Hops are a natural preservative. They're a plant, they are vine-like, and they have pine cone-like cones that have aromatic oils. Only these cone flowers are used in the production of beer. The main usage of them forever was to transfer bitterness into the beer to counterplay the sweetness from the malt. But today, more and more breweries are coveting the aromatic oils, so they're added at different stages, so the scents that you just smelled are retained in the beer and are transferred to flavor and scent. Now, unlike the malt extract, the hop pellets that you see in front of you are the same things that most commercial breweries use. Most commercial breweries don't actually use flower hops, they use hop pellets just because they retain almost all of their aromatic oils after processing, and they're much easier to handle in a dense pellet form than a light floury form. Now, these are the 2 main ingredients in beer, but we need a carrier to bring these flavors through so you can actually taste them. And that, according to Charlie Papazian, the godfather of homebrewing, is water. Water makes up 90% of the beer, but it's the most overlooked ingredient because we need water to survive. We use it every day. However, water plays an integral part in every single beer recipe because water is different and hard to change wherever you go. If you use all the same ingredients aside from water in Ohio and you try to make that beer in Ireland, it's going to taste drastically different because the makeup of the water is very different. And to change it, you need a very extensive knowledge of chemistry and lots of expensive equipment. Most people don't tailor their water to their beer recipe, they tailor their recipe to the water. Now, water can carry a lot of contamination, and when that happens, other microbes will grow in aside from yeast. We only want the yeast to be the microbe that grows. And because of that, sanitation is the most important step, and that's according to Jester Goldman from beerandbrewing.com. We only want that yeast to grow, so we want to kill everything else beforehand. Yeast primarily only imparts alcohol and carbon dioxide. It can also impart many other flavors. It can bring clean flavors, crisp flavors, fruity, spicy, a whole slew of flavors. But primarily it's there for alcohol and the bubbly, fizzy taste of beer. Different yeasts grow in different regions throughout the world, so a yeast that you get here in Ohio is going to be a little bit different than a wild yeast you find in Ireland. Luckily today we have many suppliers where you can buy that yeast from anywhere in the world and have it shipped to your door. Now, these are the bare bones of brewing and beer. Hopefully today I've taught you a little bit about barley, bringing the sugar and the body to the beer, hops bringing flavor and bitterness, yeast bringing alcohol content and carbon dioxide, and water carrying all these things through to you. Beer's been with us a very long time, and it's probably going to be with us for a long time more since it's becoming more and more popular. With the information presented here today, hopefully we can all make an informed decision next time we try something. Don't settle for just blindly getting the beer you normally get. Ask what ingredients are in it. Ask your bartender, your server, what ingredients are in other beers so you can try to play around and find what you like, dial in your taste, and don't be afraid to try something new.